We've all been there, two 10mm twin and earths carefully connected into the terminals of a good quality shower pull cord like this one from the Axiom range by CED Electrical Group. All the blood's gone out of your arms from having them up in the air trying to push against the cables that now suddenly have all the flexibility of a pro-fossil fuel car campaigner. As you sweat and strain and try to get the cover screws at least started so that you can use the physics of a helically wrapped inclined plane to help get everything in place, you might find yourself asking, why do we even need shower isolators? Now, if you stop and think about that for a second, it's a really good question. What is it there for? Does it even need to be in the bathroom? Could we put it outside the door next to the fan isolator over the door? Or even hide it in an airing cupboard nearby, or by the consumer unit? And if we can put it by the consumer unit, can't we just use the RCBO to isolate it? Why, in fact, is it there? Well, the reason is actually a little unexpected. The first thing to know is that which we call an isolator may not be an isolator at all, like this shower isolator from CED. Let's look to the regs to clarify. In table 537.4, we find a list of different devices that are designed to disconnect electricity. We've got the device type, the standard that the device conforms to, and then 3 different types of disconnection: isolation, emergency, and functional. Looking at this pull cord, you can see that it conforms to BSEN 60669-1, which covers the general requirements for switches for household and similar fixed electrical installations. If we look up BSEN 60669-1 in table 537.4, we can see that it cannot, in fact, be used for isolation, nor can it be used for emergency switching. So if something's gone horribly wrong and someone's getting a shock in the shower, it's not designed to disconnect the supply in an emergency. It might well perform the function, but it's not an emergency switch. There is an argument that suggests that if you, the electrician, has switched the shower off at the pull cord to do some maintenance on the shower, then the supply is under your control the whole time and can therefore be said to be isolated, but we'll debunk that in a moment. The reality is that the only thing that it can be used for is plain old functional switching, i.e. turning the shower on and off. And this is borne out for us on the packaging it came in. It clearly says it's a switch. But if it's only there for functional switching, and most electric showers tend to have an on-off switch built into them for functional purposes, do we need to install one at all? Well, yes we do. This is where we circle back to the much discussed, much underappreciated, and much misunderstood manufacturer's instructions. Regulation 134.1.1 reminds us of the importance of good workmanship, although with it being 2025 we probably should be referring to good working practice by now. But it then goes on to stress the importance of taking account of manufacturer's instructions. So if we head over to a set of typical instructions from a shower manufacturer, this is for the Mira Azora, it tells us the following. A separate, permanently connected supply must be taken from the consumer unit to the appliance through a double pole switch, which has at least 3mm of contact separation. The switch can be a ceiling mounted pull cord type within the shower room, or a wall mounted switch in an adjacent room. So a double pole switch is required. The bit where it suggests a wall mounted switch in an adjacent room would suggest that this switch is in fact not intended at all for isolation and maintenance on parts that could become live, because it's definitely not under your control then. So it can only be there for functional switching purposes. We need to install it due to some further direction in the instructions. The manufacturer actually gives the user a detailed sequence of steps for showering. You know, minus the lathering, rinsing and brooding on the futility of it all. It tells us to switch on electrical supply at the pull cord or switch, then press the start-stop button on the shower itself. Next there's various steps on setting temperatures and flow rates and so forth. Upon finishing, we press stop button with the caveat that the shower will continue to run for a few seconds before stopping, and then we, terrible choice of words in this context, isolate the shower or switch it off at the pull cord. So the shower isolator, or more accurately switch, is just there to disconnect the power to the shower when it's not in use. And it's not just this shower manufacturer who arbitrarily decided that this should be the case. When making an appliance like a shower, they're bound by product standards, one of which is 60335-1, Household and Similar Electrical Appliances. Safety Part 1, General Requirement states, 7.12.2, if a stationary appliance is not fitted with a supply cord and a plug, or with other means for disconnection from the supply mains, having a contact separation in all poles that provide full disconnection under overvoltage category 3 conditions, the instructions shall state that means for disconnection must be incorporated in the fixed wiring in accordance with the wiring rules. So the manufacturers have to pop a statement into their instructions saying that some kind of local disconnection needs to be provided to allow it to be disconnected. connected. The mention of a plug suggests it means local functional switching, and we can't use an MCB or RCBO for that. So that's where that direction in the shower instructions about a switch comes from. So we should fit some kind of functional switch. We could indeed pop in a shower pull cord. CED Electrical Group provide really sturdy low profile ones for just this purpose. We could choose their double pole cooker style switch instead and fit it on a wall in an adjacent room. For my money, that really means the landing. Remember, it's for functional purposes, so it needs to be accessible for regular operation, not buried in the back of an airing cupboard. Click the link in the description to check out their vast range of electrical accessories, circuit protection, ventilation, lighting and more. So there we go. Next time you're wrestling conductors into a shower pull cord, remember, it does need to be installed, but you could make your life easier by fixing it to a wall instead. If you'd like us to answer an electrical question, volley it into the comments and we'll see what we can do. All that remains in this video is to say thank you very much for watching.